Hello, hello.
Good
Hey, Sean McLean.
evening, everyone.
Hi, Chris.
Mi hermano.
You guys can
Hermano, ¿qué tal?
unmute.
For some of my influencers out here,
Good evening, everyone. Send out any last-minute text to all the team and let them know we have a call. We do this every single Monday night at 9 o'clock Central Time. And now, whatever leaders want to chat as we get started, y'all are more than welcome to, because I muted everybody. I muted everybody, so y'all can unmute and do whatever y'all were doing until we get started.
Hi, Sean McLean.
Hi, Jen Mars.
You ready for that big trip?
No, we're not ready. I mean, mentally I'm ready, but we're not ready.
No,
That's a
and
lot
then
to
they're not
prepare.
ready. They're never ready.
We haven't
That's a lot
packed
to
it.
prepare for.
I could not imagine leaving for 5 to 6 weeks.
It's like, what do you pack? Like, I've got a whole bag, a whole monster duffel full of nothing but camera gear and drones and tripods and what do? You know, you got to have gym stuff. You got to have shoes. From what I understand, the shoes better be spick and span to go through Australia. They'll nail you. Like, it's nuts, dude. Like, it's really nuts.
What do you mean they'll nail you for dirty shoes?
They're super like, Australia is one of the hardest places to get in. Like, if you got stuff on your shoes, bro, it might be some bacteria or this or that. Like, it's crazy. Like, the New Zealanders, I was talking to somebody this past week, and some kind of like fruit fly that they've never had in New Zealand. They called at the airport, and that part of the country's on quarantine. They're watching for this fruit fly, and like, it's serious business over there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's coming from this North Florida boy that, you know, we know what love bug season is twice a year. Nobody else does, right? Like, thank you, University of Florida, for inventing love bugs.
Did they really invent that?
Yes, I hate them. I hate them so bad.
They actually did. They were trying to create something to fight mosquitoes off or whatever, but it got out, and there's absolutely no purpose for them on the face of the earth. There's not.
We had, you know what? I haven't seen them here in a while, but normally we would have a love bug season, and I mean, your windows, everything would be just totally trashed.
I was going to say the purpose of them is to get stuck to your windshield.
Yeah, we've got a white car, and it just turns black during them 2 weeks. Like, it's
Yep. And it can mess it up every car. If you don't take it to the car wash immediately, it's going to mess it up with the whole paint and everything.
Well, we don't have any of those here right now. There's too much snow.
Then you're fine. You don't have love bugs over there. That's Florida. Hate them.
Yeah, it's been the wildest weather countrywide. I mean, you got people that's flooding out. I had friends in Tennessee literally being flooded out. I've got you guys are getting snowed, and, you know, Ann Lowe and them are getting crazy amounts of snow. And we've been 85 degrees the last, week. It might hit like 44 at night, but it's back up to 85 during the day. Like, it's pretty wild stuff.
Wow.
It is definitely countrywide, which is really crazy. We're going to be heading south, some of us, to get to some warmer weather. And when they're getting snow, I'm thinking I'm not going far enough south.
Wow.
Hey, Cassandra Nagel.
Hey, Ricky, I saw you tried to call me. I tried to call you back. I was in the other room. My phone was dead, so it was on the charger. Did you want to start the call off, or?
After the Zoom, it's not a big deal. Everything's good on this end. I'm just excited. Shipping seems to be getting a lot better. I know I ordered some keto cray. I think it was Friday, and it showed up at my doorstep today. So that's pretty exciting. I know we haven't heard anything about shipping being backed up and stuff. So stuff moving forward and just ready to hit the road, man. Here in 2 weeks, then we're going to be starting to travel a lot. So can't wait to go hang out with all of you. So.
Awesome. So, guys, we've been, actually, my wife has mainly been the one reading it, but she's telling me all the stories, and I definitely need to go and read it because it's really good stuff, and it's the culture code. It's talking about the importance of culture, and the story she was telling me today I thought was pretty cool, and she said that she had these, this group of people that all had to do a presentation, and they were going to be rated on who did the best presentation. And then what they did is they took this same presentation and they put it in print. So every word that they said basically was given in print, and then they had a group of people rate who did the best job, best presentation based on the exact same words, the exact same things that they said. And I'm probably butchering the story to a degree. And I asked her if she wanted to tell it tonight, but for whatever reason, she's like, I want to read it again before I tell it. I'm like, well, you just said it perfectly on the phone. Why wouldn't you just, say it now? I don't get it, but whatever. But what she was sharing is that what they found is that with the same presentation, the same words, without the tonality and without them actually sharing their passion when they were doing the presentations, that it was totally different results on when they ranked the people on who did the best to least. And that what they realized through this thing, and they even did monitors and all that on the people that, I think on just the people that heard the presentation, and they monitored all these different variables, which I'm going to have her share the story because Jill, she's not going to do it, but it's what she shared was like really cool. And what they realized is that it doesn't matter. Like, words don't matter. It's not a matter of saying all the right things. It's not a matter of having the exact perfect presentation or having, or a lot of times people think they need to learn everything. They need to know all the facts and details. They need to know this and know that and all this. But at the end of the day, what they found in these studies is that it really doesn't matter. The words don't matter. What matters is the passion of the people of when they're sharing it, and their inflections and the way that they feel about what they're saying and sharing. So I really found that amazing. And, talking with a lot of the leaders in the group, or just, a lot of people in the group lately, and just talking about the culture and what we have. Guys, what we've done is we've basically been sharing a cause and its environment. It's basically all these things that were all together that has attracted all these amazing people. Yes, we have amazing products, and that's so important. The fact that we have, high impact products that people feel right away. But if you think you have to understand all these things and know everything to be able to go create success, it really boils down to the culture that you create, the way that you make people feel when you're talking to them, and how they feel about being a part of what it is that we do. And you've heard many of us, I know Ricky says it all the time, I say it all the time, if you build a family, people won't quit a family, but they will quit a business. And if you build the people, people will build the business. So it's so important that we continue to create the environment for people to grow, for us to create this place where people could plant their seed and we pour belief into them. And many times it has to do with, a lot of us have created a story that we've told ourselves. One of my mentors that I've worked with, he now has a thing on TED. He did a TED Talk on shifting the script. And a lot of what they talked to us about, when I worked with them, was talking about our filter and what we tell ourselves and the story that we've sold ourselves. and what we determine as reality, and like how our philosophies and the stories that we've been taught, or the things that we've been taught. For instance, the person that tells themselves they're shy. Well, somebody told them that they were shy years prior. Someone told them, you know, growing up, like, and it could be something as simple as, you know, your kid might be having a, you know, just a rough day or whatever, and they're tired, and you go to someone's house, and then they basically are hugging on your leg, and the people are trying to talk to them, and they're just tired. But then the parents go, yeah, they're being shy right now, or they're being shy, and they start to imprint that story into that child's mind. Not on, you know, from a bad perspective, not from any other perspective of not knowing any better. But now this child has bought this story that they're shy. And I'm sharing this with you because many of you all have been telling yourselves a story for a long time. And it could be based on things that people told you. And it was funny how I was watching A Star is Born. My wife and I watched that over the weekend. And we were, you know, we were talking a little bit after, and I actually had this conversation with Robin. It was a great talk. We were talking about the mindsets and about the stories, and we were talking about the story behind the story, and we were talking about what we learned from the movie. So, like, I don't watch movies from a place of just entertainment anymore. Like, I'm like trying to see, what are they really trying to get across? What are they really trying to share? And it was so funny on how this woman, I mean, Lady Gaga, that has this absolutely amazing voice that when she sings, like, I got chills right now just even thinking about it. She's absolutely amazing. But when you watch what her dad would tell her and how she bought into the story that she would never make it based on her looks, and how that's just absolutely ridiculous. And I'm sharing this with you because many of you all have been telling yourself a story that somebody might have told you, and you bought into this story, and you started to believe that that is a reality. You started to believe that that is the way that it is. And guys, life is an illusion. Life is not necessarily the way that we see it. To us it is, and that's the reality, is that because you bought into it, that is the reality, but it's really not the reality. The reality is you can change the story. You can flip the script at any time in your life. And when you start to realize that you're in control of your feelings, your thoughts, the way that you perceive things, you know, it's so funny. Like when I've watched people have conversations and how someone will get offended in the conversation. And what it boils down to is their script, their story made them react to whatever they heard or whatever they felt and react a certain way. It's funny how two different people can be around something or watch an argument or even read a letter or read a Facebook post. And based on where you are and what you're thinking about will give a totally different meaning to you than to maybe somebody else. Sean and Kim and myself were talking about this earlier today. We were talking about a Facebook post we read and how their experience of it was different than someone else's experience of it. And the thing is that the reality isn't going back to, like, you are absolutely unoffendable if you choose to be unoffendable. Like someone can't make you mad. Someone can't make you sad. Someone can't make you anything. The reality is that you made yourself whatever way based on your perception and your philosophies on the way that you look at life. And when you start to recognize that you are in control of the way that you feel, then you will never be a victim to life ever again. You will never be a victim to the way that, you know, people or the way that you experience things. Like, I remember the first personal development event that I went to. It was called the ISA Experience. It was called the Institute of Self-Actualization. And the guy that told me about this was really one of my first mentors. He was the guy that taught me how to shoe horses. And I learned so much from this guy. This guy was always on time. And I was never on time. And he was very particular about being on time. So me working with him was really, it was like, you know, basically I had to make sure that I was on time if I was going to work with him, or he was not going to teach me this. And it would be basically, it would cost me a lot of money to go learn and go to the training that this guy taught me for free. And I just watched the way that he did things. And I said, he was like he was like on the head of the horseshoers. It was a blacksmithing farriers union, right? It was a union, and he was the head of that. And then he was also building an aircraft. He was a pilot. He was the head of the Experimental Aircraft Association. He was the head of this thing. He was the head of that. And I was like, how in the world can you, like, how do you have time to do all these things? And he said, Chris, everyone has time to do everything that they make important. Every person out there has time to do anything that they make important. And I said, well, how are you always on time? And he said, I realized that it was important to live up to my word. So if I say I'm going to be somewhere at a certain time, that's what time I'm going to be there. And being on time is being late. I'm going to be early. And so he was like my first mentor. And what I realized is that I want to live my life like this guy. I want to basically, see, the thing is if you want to basically mentor someone, be the person that they would want to be. And guys, you have the choice to do that. And what I learned at this event, when I went to this, is he said one of the things is that rejection is an illusion and that it doesn't exist. And so then what he showed, and he said, he goes, all right, be rejected. And he's like, you know, telling people something. And because they knew that he was like trying to make them feel rejected, and he could say, you're stupid, you're this, you're that, whatever. And the person had no effect to it because the person knew that he was just trying to get them upset. So what is the difference of that person just sitting there trying to make them feel rejected versus being rejected? Like, what is the real difference? The difference is that you choose to feel the way that you do. And it's funny, and there's another thing I was talking to Robin and I always talk about all these deep things. In fact, I have a lot of these relationships with many people in the team where we just talk about things like Sean is like the analogy giver for me. Like, he gives the best freaking analogies and like tells it in a story and contrasts it to something else. I always learn when I'm listening to him. You know, but all the leaders that I talk to, I learn different things from. And, you know, I was talking to Robin the other day, and we were talking about her perception of things in her personal town, you know, and where she's been brought up and all that. And I'm sharing this with you guys because when you start to realize and start having an awareness that you're in control of the way that you think and the way that you feel, and that you can reframe things, then your life is going to live on a whole nother level. A whole nother level. Because you are now controlled, and you are not a victim to any circumstance in your life. And what if you didn't care what other people thought? How would your business grow? You know, how would your business grow? Because most of us take action based on the way that we think other people are going to perceive us. And I'm sharing all of this, guys, because every single one of you on this call, every single one of you all were destined for greatness. You know, I'm not going to go get all, you know, biblical or anything like that, and I don't care what your belief is or whatever, but the bottom line is our Creator doesn't create junk. And every single one of us were destined for greatness, but conditioned for failure. We were conditioned and told that we are a certain way, and we are, you know, in that, and then we bought into that. And guys, I wanted to share this with you all because every single one of you all can shift the script at any time. You can choose to feel the way you feel about things. You can choose to whatever. I mean, let's talk about love. When you love someone, what made you love that person? It's a story you told yourself on what's important to you value-wise. and what you're looking for someone, what's important to you. And that's one of the things that it's like, you know, we choose to love and we choose to feel certain ways. Like, have you ever seen somebody when they break up with somebody, everything, like the whole way they look at everything sucks and everything is like down and whatever, blah, blah. But then when you're in love, everything is bright. Everything is shiny. Everything is wonderful. And you're happy, joy, and all this stuff, right? Well, what is the difference? The difference is your perception. The difference is the way that you're looking at life at the time. And I'm sharing this with you guys because I just know it in me that we have a format that we can create winner after winner after winner after winner, and that there are people on this call right now that have been telling themselves a story for a long freaking time. And they bought into this, and it's by us believing in them. It's by us loving on them and letting them know that we believe that they have what it takes to be a winner, guys. And by you loving on your people, you're helping them shift the script. You're helping them shift their belief systems on what they've been telling themselves. And that's why it's so important. Like we started this off where we were going to create an environment for love. We were going to create an environment for people to grow, for people to become the best versions of themselves. And it starts out with belief. See, you can't have faith and doubt in the same place. You either believe in something or you don't. And, you know, I did a Facebook Live earlier with Kamel and Peter. And it was funny how just stuff started just flying off the tip of my tongue. And I had no idea what we were going to talk about. But the bottom line is, guys, that it's the environment and believing in people, that when you start to believe in people, then they can start believing in themselves. They can start moving forward. So, guys, I just wanted to share that with you all tonight because it's so important for you all in moving forward to create that environment, believe in people, love on people, because that's what has created. You have to remember, when we got started, we didn't have a comp plan on paper. We didn't have a PowerPoint. We didn't have many of the things that companies believe that they had to have. But what we did have is love. We had an environment of love and believing in people and creating the place for people to become the best version. With that being said, I'm going to shut up. And I had no idea what I was going to talk about tonight, but I just felt that that was important to share with you all. But guys, you have it in you to be freaking awesome. You have it in you to have whatever it is that you want in life. This is your time to shine. This is your time to basically create in your mind the life that you want. I'm going to open it up to any leaders. If anybody else wants to share their heart, their, you know, what they feel, over to you.
Hey, Chris, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, so perfect, dude. I love that, how you covered all of that stuff. And I was just thinking, I was just sitting here thinking, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to Facebook or whatever, or my wife, whenever I started this business, she didn't, you know, she supported me with the house stuff, with the kids and stuff like that. And I just wanted her to come on and kind of share with you guys, after 13 months of doing this, what came into her mind to get out of her shell, because she was stuck in a little shell like Chris is talking about. You got into this business because you had a dream and a vision to do something, but then you're talking yourself out of it every single day. Because you're like, oh my God, I'm going to get rejected by this person, or this is going to happen. Well, the same thing happened with her. You know, she was like in this little show, and then all of a sudden, one day she goes, hey, I did a video. And then she put it out on Facebook, and then she did the second one. So she's basically coming out of her own little shell. And she just, you know, whenever we were talking, she was telling me, she goes, well, I didn't think nobody cared. You know what I mean? To hear the story, but through that, she's already probably impacted or inspired a lot of you, because, I mean, her videos, although they're not lives yet, because she's not there yet to where she could go live on Facebook. And I told her she needs to do it whenever she's ready, right? So I just wanted to have her come in and share with you guys what put her over the edge to just say, hey, you know what? I'm going to share my story. It does matter, right? Because somebody out there is suffering from the same thing that she's suffering from, of being scared to talk about this or talk about that. And now, she feels a lot better about everything that's going on, So here, I'll let her hop on. Come over here.
Hello, everybody. So basically, it was kind of a very phenomenal moment for me. And it followed this recent happiness convention. And I don't know really what the trigger point was for me that kind of kicked me over the edge and said, okay, it's time to go about this. But I'd had a conversation with Ricky leading that event. And the gist of it is that, to me, because of his previous association with the previous company, there was so much science behind it. And I couldn't get on board with it. My mind's going 90 to nothing, 24/7, managing multiple schedules. And so for me, I was like, well, I don't understand the product. I don't understand how it works. I don't understand the comp plan. I don't understand the logistics. I don't know how to talk to people about it. And there was just something, and I can't even tell you what it was, but there was just a trigger point that took place at that happiness convention. It was like, it's coffee. There's not a whole lot to explain. It's coffee. You drink it. 90% of the population drinks it every morning. So that was kind of where, and then also watching the individuals that came up on stage and just told their stories, their heartfelt stories, spilled their hearts to this room full of, I'm sure they knew a lot of people, but there was also many strangers in there. To watch them pour out their hearts and souls, that touched me deeply. And not everybody's going to have the same story as me. Not everybody's going to have the same story as them. But there is a significance to everybody's story. Because there's a lot of people out there that have similar feelings that one person does. So that's kind of just what took place for me, and I'm slowly trying to work myself out of my shell as best as possible. It's a slow process, like Ricky said. I'm not ready to do lives yet, and every time I tell him I post a video, he's like, why don't you just go live? I'm not there yet, but I'm trying, and I'll eventually get there one day. So hopefully one day I'll see everybody on the live Zoom. Have a good evening.
She's better than me.
Well,
I can't do a recorded video. I can only do a live video because I would be overdoing it over and over. And by the way, Jessica, I've been so blown away, so impressed by your videos. Great content, very heartfelt, amazing. You guys need to go check out what she's been doing. And even watching Ricky's kids come out of their shells and what they've been doing, it's just been amazing. So the whole Durant family is a bunch of rock stars.
Oh, well, it's funny because, the kids up until, they went to their first convention, which I think it was about 6 months ago, they didn't understand what I was doing. They thought that Daddy was just sitting in bed playing on Facebook all day long. And then whenever they saw the magnitude of what was going on at convention and, the people that we've all impacted as a group, right? They were like completely blown away. And, leaving this last convention, the kids come home and then it's crazy. It's like, guys, not only you're learning all this stuff through the convention, through getting on the Zoom, through getting on these trainings, guys, you don't get this stuff at school. Okay. That's something they do not teach you at school. So really think about that, and really think about if you go to a job at corporate America, you're getting a 3% raise once a year if you're lucky, okay? There's people on this call, and a lot of you, that are making more than 10 or 30 or 40% increase in your pay every single month just for going out there and sharing a cup of coffee with somebody. You know, some people lose weight. Some people, hey, they're doing better with their anxiety, their depression, so on. So I can't go a day without not sharing this product. You know, I carry my backpack with me. I'm at a volleyball tournament. I'm talking to people about Happy Coffee. Today, I go into the bank to go get some tax statements and some interest payments on my car. The lady goes, "What do you do?" I said, "Oh my God, have you heard about the Happy Coffee everyone's talking about?" Guys, it's everywhere. Everywhere you go, there's opportunities. And I'll tell you this till the day I die, there ain't an opportunity greater than this. And we're just getting started. And I know Francisco had posted something on the team page talking about, you know, being at the right place at the right time and being with a company whenever it's under 100,000 distributors. Guys, we're not even close to 100,000 distributors. So with that being said, I would like Francisco to come on if you're still on and kind of cover that, because that was pretty powerful. Even I read it and I was like, wow. And we've only been doing this for a year. Guys, imagine where we're going to be, not tomorrow, but imagine where we're going to be 10 years down the road, because we are building that legacy company. That's why it's taken so long for us to open these other countries up. Everybody's ready to go. Everybody loves our product. That's a great problem to have. But we have to do everything by the book, because we're not trying to go in to come out. We're trying to go in to stay in. So with that being said, Francisco, if you could come on and kind of share that. I think you posted it on the Team Rise page.
Yes.
That would be awesome. Thank you.
Hey, Ricky, thank you for that opportunity. Well, guys, it is based on numbers, it's statistics. The industry has been taught in more than 200 colleges and universities, and there was a great study that I saw and read and researched even more in depth to it, like a couple of years ago, between 2009 and 2011. Harvard Business School did a great study about direct sales and network marketing. Actually, they recommend the industry. And they say that when the company has the right criteria, there are three different points in time that they're going to consider that company a once in a lifetime opportunity. And then when you pair that with a couple of more studies other institutions made, it is powerful because it let you know that you are at the right place at the right time. Because basically what Harvard says, okay, first criteria, a company has to be less than 18 months old. So we are being 14 months old. So that's one great point of it. The other point is that we have to have, the company needs to have a product highly consumable that provoke the retention between customers. It's less expensive, highly consumable. That being said, we are 10-to-1 customer promoter ratio. Why? Because your product it's impactful. It's a product that has instant gratification. It's a product that it might work 5 minutes to people, in 15 minutes, in 1 hour. It doesn't matter. It's going to have instant gratification. So the product is creating that type of movement in terms of customers. And the third period of time is the company, wherever it's operated, at least it has to have less than 1% of population in every country that is operating. So they say if it is have 500,000 distributors involved, it is a nice opportunity. But if you have 100,000 or less, it's what they call once in a lifetime opportunity. The other thing is other stories reveal two very important criteria. Company has to have a higher value executive team. Because if you have an executive team with experience with the law for the distributors, the executive team always gonna go through and it's gonna make everything happen. But the most important story that they say is, in order for everything happen, the culture or the teams in place and the system created by the teams are fundamental for everything else work in place. If everything it is according to those criteria, every single leader that joined to the company at that time is gonna leave 85% of the lifetime in terms of economics of the company. So the company is gonna create a growth that is gonna be so incredible that the people that joins before the 18 months are people that if they stay, they're gonna be able to leave 85% of the whole income of the company. So you're gonna be able to leave a legacy to your family. I wanted to bring that on the table because I know sometimes people can make decisions based on emotions. But in terms for a guy like me, that I like statistics, numbers, and I see everything in place, I'm also a man that make decisions based on vision. Like I left the company that I was doing significant portion of money that it was according to my regular job that I'm gonna retire this week. Um, that I didn't have to be here, but I always put that criteria in place to make a decision. So that's why for me, convention in Dallas 6 months ago, that first convention was the nail in the coffin because I saw the culture, what attracted me to stay here, to call everyone and say, this is my new house. This is when I'm planting my seed now to stay was simple. The culture that you guys created from the beginning. And when I get to know the story of Robert Obland, and then the whole executive team that he was putting in place, I say, okay, there's two there. The product already did the job, so we have 3 points of it. And then the company that time was only 6 months old, none people have heard of it, and there was anyone talking in Spanish, and I speak Spanish. And I said, wait a minute, so I can take advantage of the Latino community here. I said, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Everybody can make any type of coffee. No one have the mission that we have. No one have a mission against suicide, against depression, against anxiety. No one have built the culture that we have built to have the fastest growing company in the industry. You just have to believe that you can do it and operate it. Operate in belief, have faith, wake up every morning, knowing by vision that you are in a once in a lifetime opportunity. You just have to run, and do it. That's it.
Thank you so much, Francisco, for sharing that. And I did want to give a shout out to Rachel Cunningham. That Saturday training that she did this Saturday, it was phenomenal. If you guys haven't watched that training, I would highly recommend going back and watching that training. She did a fabulous job. And guys, you know, people go, well, I've already been to that training. I don't want to get on that Zoom. Remember this, leaders are always learning. If you're not learning, you're dying. You know, I get on these trainings every Saturday. I don't think I've missed one Saturday training. And I'll tell you what, every time I get on, I learn something different from each different leader that's hosting the Zoom. So guys, really, it's so important for you guys to stay plugged in. If you miss a training, go back and get the replay from somebody. If you don't know where to get it, Chris can tell you how to get there to get the information. But guys, just keep doing what you're doing. Act as if, and remember this, whenever you go to bed tonight, where am I going to be whenever we get to Staples Center in 2020? Where am I going to be sitting? How many people are going to be walking across that stage that are on my team? And where are you going to be in 2020? Thank you, guys. I'll pass it back over to Chris.
Awesome. Hey, Rachel, are you out there?
I am.
can you tell us, like, how did you feel about doing the training prior to doing the training? Because I think this is so important, because I know that you were having some doubts about yourself, and everybody that saw your training said it was absolutely amazing. And this ties in what we started this call off with, and the story that we tell ourselves, and the conversations we have in our head. Would you mind sharing with us a little bit, just kind of like what was going on in your head prior to?
Sure. So I usually just have a lot of anxiety about doing things before I do them. It's probably the thing that holds me back the most in my business. And I had a rough couple of days. I'm a homeschooling mom, as those of you that watched the training heard. So I have a lot of challenges. I have at least one child with Lyme disease, if not another 2 more. And with that comes all kinds of fun things. So we all have our trials, we all have our issues. And I told Ricky on Friday that I didn't think I was going to be able to do the training. And I had talked to Robin a little bit, and she was like, just let Ricky know and I'll talk to him. And I was like, well, okay. But I knew in my heart of hearts that I really could. I just was making excuses because I was having anxiety. I wasn't feeling like I was going to bring anything to the table. I underestimate myself a lot.
Hey, Rachel, it's Ricky here. I got to interrupt you for a second, because I know you reached out to me on Friday night. And what were my words to you? Find somebody to do it then. That's exactly what I did, guys. And you know why I did that? Because we already had a schedule, okay? And I was like, no, she's not getting out of it. And I wasn't doing it to be mean. I was letting her know, hey, you had a commitment to all of us. You're going to have to find somebody to do it. I'm not going to do it for you. So what I was doing there, I was not enabling her, okay? I was letting her step into her greatness. And by me answering like that, then not even 30 minutes later, that's what she goes, Ricky, I'm going to do it. Perfect example. Sorry.
It's totally fine. Yeah. So I knew that I just needed the encouragement, and I knew that I could do it. And so I put my best foot forward and gave you guys everything that I had. And when I was done, it felt so good to be able to share the things that God's given me the talents to share, and the things that are working for me in my business and for my team and for all of us. And all of your comments, you know, while I'm not one that needs a ton of recognition, it really does make a difference when you hear from people. So thanks for pushing me. That's why I'm here. And yeah, thank you.
So if anybody has felt the way Rachel feels, or felt and what she was sharing, where you doubt yourself or you're going through that, why don't y'all give some love in the comments, just to, you know, because there's a lot of people that feel the same way. And if that helped you hearing Rachel's story, put some in the comments. This is your chance to participate, to contribute, to be a part of something. And guys, some of you might even be afraid to make comments in the comment section. But show her some love, and many other people are feeling the exact same way. And by you guys using these little things to step out of your comfort zone, to step out, is what's really going to get you where you want to go. Again, it's environment. We create the environment for people to be the best versions of themselves. And it starts with you. It starts with every single one of you all. Anybody else want to share some similar things, or something that might, contrast what we started the call off with before we close this bad boy out?
It's funny, Chris, now that you say that, when you called me that Saturday to ask me if I couldn't do the training because you couldn't do it, I was all over my head thinking, he's just calling me now My accent is, that guys, I always criticizing my own accent, I know. And I was saying the first time that I'm gonna do a whole training in English for this particular team, I don't know if I'm gonna do a great job. I don't know how I'm gonna feel. I don't know. And I was sweating like crazy that day. I even had to hide inside of a car because I was in my job. But let me tell you, from the time that Chris called me, it was like 10 a.m. here Eastern time, to the time that it was the training, 12 o'clock, there was a lot of stuff happening in my mind. There was a battlefield in my mind saying that you're not going to be able to do it. You're not worthy. Your language barrier is not going to let people understand you. There was so many things coming into my mind. But no matter what, I stand still and I say, no, I have to do it because I know in my mind that God have created something, a diamond in me. God brought me from the soil, and that's how He created me, giving me the form of a precious creature. So I need to understand that I'm a son of Him, and I'm able to perform whatever I can put in my mind that I'm going to perform. And thanks to that, I managed to be victorious over my mind. And that's why there's a book that it calls Battlefield is in my mind, in the mind, the Battlefield in the Mind by who's the author? I
Joyce.
always forget it. Joyce Meyer. Thank you. Joyce Meyer. That book is one of my favorite because it's gonna let you understand, guys, that there's no other enemy than your own mind. Because there's where the attack is gonna come from, the enemy. There's other enemy. There's not enemy out there that can empower you more than your own mind. So whatever you put in your mind, you're gonna achieve it. It's that Proverbs 23:7 says that the way the man thinks, that's the way it's gonna be, in good words. So the way you think is the way that you're gonna be. So always think that God created in you the perfect image of Him here. He just gave you free will. You either make it or you don't make it. He gives you the free will to decide what you want to do with your life. Do you want to keep following all those bad thoughts that are going to come into your mind? Or you going to follow the word that says, I have give you the power to create. I have give you the power to be a blessing for many people with your hands. That's the word that He wants to put in you. Okay, so God bless you all. That's how I wanted to end it up.
All right, guys, we'll close it out with this. When we got started over here, I was at the lowest point of my life. I mean, I was absolutely at the lowest point of my life. And I had made a decision that it was about to change. I knew that I knew that I knew that we were about to go do what we did. And, when Ricky called me up and asked me, are you going full time? Are you going to basically do this? And then when guys, you got to realize I was making $2,500 a month with the company that I was in. And I was accustomed prior to that to having a very strong 6-figure income. And I was in absolute debt and struggling, like what in the hell was I going to do? I had to go back into construction to basically make ends meet, to just not totally sink in nothing. And the fact that Ricky had belief in me, that he wanted to join me, when I didn't have belief in myself at the time, I had to flip the script and be the person that he joined. I had to basically flip the script and say, I'm the freaking leader people are looking for. I'm going to go out there and do this and whatever. And guys, where I was at that time, it made no sense to look at what we did. Like right when we started, we chose to be the leaders that we were going to be, that people were going to follow. We chose, and basically we talked about it. And we said, this is what we're going to tell people. This is the mission we're on. This is where we're going. And we're going to find out who's going with us. And guys, being at the lowest point of my life, there's probably some people on this call that had no idea where the hell I was and what was going on in my mind from the beginning. But I tell you what, Everyone believed what we said. Everyone believed what we were going to do. And you know why? Because we believed it. Because we believed where we were going. We knew what we were going to do. And the whole point of us starting this whole call off with this tonight was you have the ability in you to decide and flip the script and believe that everything that you want in your life is possible. Tonight is the night that you can do that. You can basically say, this is it. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm done. I'm ready to be the person that I see myself as being. And if you can't see that amount of greatness that you have in you, you need to be reaching out to the leaders above you so where we can pour life into you, because you have every seed that you need right now to be the freaking rock star that you deserve to be. With that being said, love you guys. We'll close it out with that. Everybody have an awesome night. We'll post this call on Facebook. Or not on Facebook, but on YouTube in just a little while. That's at zoomreplay.com. That's where you can see all the amazing trainings that many of the leaders in this team have been doing. So zoomreplay.com. Everybody have an awesome night. Thank you for everyone that shared value in the comments or if you talked. Thank you so much, guys. You all rock. Take care, guys. I'm going to unmute.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bless you guys.
Good night.
You're awesome.
Good night. So.